I always just kind of jam to the music for a bit. But hello, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be here. We got another episode of Scream Fix coming right at you.
Yeah.
As always, I'm Will. With me here is my illustrious co-host, Mr. Feller. As we,
Uh,
my illustrious co-host Brian, aka Feller. Not to.
goes by. Brian's gonna go by Feller. Or Brian's gonna go by Feller for this podcast, Feller. Or I like those as the intros, but whatever. Okay, I guess we're just doing whatever now.
I like you. Kind of got a little bit of a scream in there. You just getting ahead of the game today.
Yeah, I like to get my screams in everywhere.
Yeah.
Someone's like, "Hello, welcome to McDonald's. What would you like?" I'm like, "Big Mac." No, I actually don't go to McDonald's very much, so I'm upset that I didn't say somewhere. I actually go like Taco Bell. But
Ooh,
yeah, I like to get screams in where I can.
that's
A
smart.
lot of the times, any kind of like response to a question, hit them with a lot of positivity. You know,
Like
yeah,
a okay.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
okay,
then
like a
they're like,
positive
"Whoa."
scream.
Yeah, and then you're giving them a bunch of energy from that, and they're either going back to their desk and they're saying, "Whoa, that guy is way too much for me. I'm gonna go text my friend about what just happened," or they're like, "Man, that made my day." Either way, I've given them something.
That's true. There's not enough positive screaming really in the world.
Yeah, and then people don't give enough
Yeah,
with their
which
words.
that's why we're here,
Give
you
a
know?
little more, people.
That's what this podcast is all about, is
It
just
is.
screaming. And
Yeah.
I actually need a good scream this week because Falcon and the Winter Soldier, man, it's over, and I don't know what I'm gonna do without it going forward. Like my Thursdays slash Fridays, depending on if I stay up late or not to watch it, are gonna feel empty now that I don't have it. So
Yeah, but it's
I need a
temporary
scream.
because we've got Loki and Hawkeye going in.
That's true. That's true. But we do have we got a little wait now. We've been spoiled with WandaVision just basically straight into this, and now we got to go like all of May without nothing. But
Yeah, Maze.
Marvelous May, and not the cool
Yeah.
Marvelous, like Marvel-less
Whoa.
May.
Isn't there something though? There's a cartoon coming out, I think, during May.
What if? Does that come out?
No, not What If, but the one where it's like more
Oh, the comedy one that used
yeah.
Modoc.
Modoc. There we go. I
That
was thinking Modoc, but I knew that wasn't right.
no, that it is. It's Modoc.
It is Modoc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. It is.
I forgot what it
Whoa.
stands
What?
for, but like,
They say something in the preview about what it stands for. Okay, Thor's mug. That's cool.
oh yeah, okay. Funny story about this. Literally right before we got going here, I made some coffee and I got it
Yeah.
started on the Keurig and walked away. And I came back and I had put, I can't physically show you without spilling the coffee, but I put the mug in upside down. So the
Upside
coffee
down.
was
Oh
just
no.
going everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, that's very tragic.
Yeah. It's been one of those
That's a
days.
case of the Mondays.
Yeah. It really has been, man. I think I
Welcome
lost
to-
my AirPods too. So it's just a rough Monday for me, which is
Yeah,
another
so did
reason
you have your AirPods and then all of a sudden you didn't have them earlier, or you had them and then you lost them?
I just haven't had them today. Like when I went to go grab them to use them today, they weren't where they were supposed to be, and I have not been able to find them since. So
Uh, Interesting.
yeah. Anyway, all that to say is I got some screaming to do, but
It makes sense.
mostly because of the lack of Falcon Winter Soldier that's coming up. But did you happen to? I see you're going. Oh, you're back. Okay, but did you happen to catch it, the finale?
I did.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, I don't even know. Maybe I should call it Captain America and the Winter Soldier since they hit us with that jazz at the end there. But
Yeah, I really liked that too. I thought that was a nice way for them to do something, that I would have wanted them to do, and that was a nice way to do it.
yeah, but so I loved it. And just as like a quick recap, we basically got, it started off with the Flag Smashers, kind of attacking that GRC vote, and we kind of had the big climactic fight and the, reveal of Sam new Cap, and we won't get into the too nitty gritty here, but we kind of had the fight. Then we had Sam's big speech. A lot of different characters had their moment. We finally found out who the power broker was. I got a lot on that. Um, we
Okay.
got, the moment with Isaiah, and then U.S. agent Bucky kind of looking for forgiveness, and then we ended things out with the cookout.
I'm gonna take a stance here, not just to be contrarian.
Yeah, what you
I
got?
didn't love the finale. I didn't love it. Kind of fell short for me. I liked it more on the second watch. I think I was able to kind of come to the conclusion that they gave us so much, so I was happy about that. And they answered a lot of things. It seemed like, oh, some of this will go unanswered. Now they answered a lot of it, but still, I didn't. I didn't love it as much as I loved some of the other episodes. And it might have even been because they were trying to get so much of that in. And what I mean by that is it just started immediately.
Yeah,
Boom, we're all now in a different city, wearing the uniform in the fight. Then the fight ends, and he's given his great speech, which I really liked. I thought that was a fun way for him to be able to say everything he wanted to say, and have those lines of dialogue.
yeah.
But I also felt like that point happens at the, like, halfway point of the episode,
I mean, if
and
even
so then we
that,
have yeah, what?
I said
Even
like if
earlier than
even
that?
that, like it kind of felt even
Yeah,
earlier. Yeah,
yeah, and potentially might have been. I didn't actually like pause or anything, but everything after that, it kind of felt all over the place. Like there were 6 different additional after credits moments that were passed off as um, real scenes,
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of, I
I know. Yeah,
guess.
I know what you're saying.
And so that kind of messed with me a little bit, but I don't know. That was really just the toughest part for me, was thinking that I I felt like the episode kind of got lost after it wrapped, and it was just touching on like all this different stuff because it, thought it needed to be successful. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on it. I'm tough on finales.
No, I actually felt the same way, which and I know you feel the same way too. We both still loved the show, so like where it
Oh
wasn't,
yeah, I loved it.
but for me, I don't know. I would need to like actually go back and look, but I'm pretty sure like every episode I liked more than the last, except for the finale. Like it didn't reach that new height for me. Like there were awesome moments, but I think the pacing was a little off. Kind of like like we just said, like all the action and kind of like the climax was all like in the first third of the episode, felt like, and then it just kind of felt like, all right, we got to get all this other stuff in. And I just feel like, I mean, I don't know how they could have necessarily done it better given what they had to accomplish in that last whatever, but and maybe it's just the issue with these TV shows having to like, you know, fill a whole episode of the finale versus like, the last 30 minutes of a movie or whatever. But WandaVision seemed to not have this problem in that the final conflict there was kind of like the end of the finale, and then there was like maybe 5 or 6 minutes after that that kind of wound down. Here it felt like we had almost the entire episode was wind down, which I mean isn't like an issue in and of itself, but it felt a little weird. I don't know if that's kind of the same thing you were feeling or if you had.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's probably a little bit of you know, and all of us grow up with our moms cooking, and so chocolate chip cookies taste this way to us. Chicken at dinner tastes this way to us. Marvel has become our mother and has cooked us dinner many at times, and I've loved it every time. And I think with the TV show, it's a bit different, and so I think a little bit of that goes into this. So I'm probably looking for my mom's chicken and I'm really eating something else and I don't like it as much, but it's still a good dish. That's the
Yeah,
best way I can think of it. It's just not my mom's homemade chicken that I love. But
that's
it
fair.
doesn't mean I didn't like it. It just seemed to me, it wasn't my favorite episode and I didn't love it. I did like it. I did appreciate it. I thought it had some really good, fun moments. I really appreciated how much it, wrapped up. But I just felt like I felt like every scene after that speech from him was the after credits scene, and I don't know them all by heart, but we could walk through them, and I don't think very many people would feel differently. As far as me saying, take this scene, what if this was the after credits scene? Would you be upset? Would it be weird? And I don't think they'd say no. I think they'd be like, yeah, that does make for a really good after credits scene. You're right. And I'd be like, yeah, now this one, wouldn't this have made just for a fun after credits scene moment?
Yeah.
And I wasn't even sure what to take away from a lot of it. That was the other side of it. So it was like wrapping up a lot, but not fully giving me everything I was hoping. But I don't know. I just I hate that I didn't love it. I really wanted to love it. I thought it was really good. I'm really excited, and this is something you told me, but there's going to be a Captain America 4. Spellman's on to come back. He's going to do a fantastic job. And it gives me a little bit of hope of this ended the way it ended because there's a whole movie that it's going to be attached to.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to give a lot of stuff so that the movie could hit the ground running, which makes me excited. But
Yeah.
I don't feel like this was perfect ending for me.
Agreed. And yeah, they announced, I think it was okay, so it comes out like Thursday night, but really it comes out Friday, the episodes. So I think Friday night, or maybe it was even Saturday, is when they dropped the announcement that Captain America 4, starring um, Mackie and with Spellman attached, was coming out. So like this definitely has been in the pipes, right? So hopefully and surely that like Malcolm already had kind of the idea for even that movie going into this show. At least I hope so. So
I would think that that would be even if he wasn't at the helm of it, he would have already known what they were doing and what the plan
yeah.
was for it.
So hopefully we get hopefully it's a smooth transition and kind of like on the whole like watching that movie is almost like watching episode 7 and 8 and just kind of like not that they need to be like connected to the flag smashers or anything like that, but um I don't know, I'm really excited that he's getting a movie, and I hope that Bucky is in it as well, which I still haven't seen like 100% confirmation that he is, but I feel like he will be. But I don't know, because one of
Uh,
my other complaints about not well about the finale was that yeah, it wrapped a lot of things up, but I really have no idea on like what's Bucky's path moving forward. Like he already marked off all the people on his notebook, which I was surprised that like they kind of just
yes,
fast
that was one
forwarded
of my
that.
questions to you. Did he do that?
Well,
Did he
like
mark off? I mean, it looked like it showed those pages that had the names through them. So he told Sam there were like 12 people. We're assuming he went and did all 12.
yeah, I mean, I guess because they had the lines through them, so I was just like, okay, well, so they glossed over that, and now he's at the cookout with Sam. So like, are they partners? Like, is that the plan? Like, what's he doing? So I had a lot of questions, and I wish there would have been a little bit more of a nod to like what was happening with him now. But maybe that movie will answer the question.
Let me ask you this: Sam's new suit. Tell me about it. Do you love it? Do you hate it?
So okay, yeah, I mean, I liked that moment. It's a big moment crashing through that building and just coming in hot, and I like the suit is very comic accurate. I don't know if you have seen that, but they lifted it straight out of it essentially. So I see what they were going for there. They didn't take any like big risks or like go a completely different direction. So I like it. And one thing I was going to bring up with you is that kind of I don't think this is the case, but since they didn't say anything about it, my head canon is going to be that Bucky designed that suit because he's the one that got it made for him. Not like designed as in like did it, but like gave them like the pointers of being like, hey, make it like really kind of pop with all the red, white,
Over
and
the
blue.
top.
Yeah, to kind of like rib him a little bit, be like, hey man, nice suit. And also like so kind of in a joking like get him kind of way, but also as like a passing of the baton himself to be like, like your Cap, like just embrace it and go for it. So I don't think
Yeah,
that
he
was the
definitely had
implication
some
of the show,
input.
but
I don't know. I feel like he had some input because he was like, "I need a favor. Here's what I need. I need you to design a Sam new suit." And they're like, "Oh, cool." He was like, "I need it to be Captain America colors because I'm about to go convince him he's Captain America."
exactly.
Um, I thought about that, and I thought, like, what if Sam opened it and was like, "Why? I don't want this. Like, I don't want these colors. I didn't come to the conclusion you thought I would, and now I don't want the new suit."
I'm out.
Um, I did think the when I like try to think back through the episode and really make myself fall in love with it. I think one thing they did was something we talked about them doing the whole show, which was
Hmm.
showing that Sam's the only person that could have been Captain America. And I thought the suit was interesting because it kind of completed the transformation. And then we got to see him finally in action throughout the series. He was demonstrating why he needed to be the next captain and needed to be him. And then we saw in action um, in the suit, him being Captain America. And really to that point, like he busts in, he beats everybody up real nice and quick with the shield. They show all the new gadgets. He has new shield, wings combo type stuff going on throughout
Yeah.
these fights. But he gets to go save the people in the plane. Um, and I feel like that was important for him to have his own solo moment. They also showed that he like does water doesn't affect him now. His suit can like go underwater.
Oh yeah.
So
I didn't even think about that.
um, showing the suit off and letting you know, hey, Sam proving that he was worthy of being Cap. Now Sam is Cap, and they're showing us this is what Sam looks like as Cap. And
Yeah.
here are all the cool things he can do now. Just FYI, if he goes in water, he doesn't even care. He's Sam is Cap now, not Falcon. Falcon goes in the water, can't swim. Sam is Cap goes in the water, shoots straight out, not a problem.
He's
No one
fine.
cares. Yeah, it is not a big deal. And it was fun to watch them find ways to like incorporate the shield in a way that Cap Steve Rogers could have never used, and
Yeah.
instead we're getting to see Sam use it that way, in his own unique, personalized. This is me as Cap version type thing. And again, um, with the even moving later into when that thing is falling, everyone has their shot at their moment to save that thing, and they can't get it done. But Sam shows up flying, which is something Cap could never do before, which was fun, but also catching and pushing up the thing and not having a super serum, which was
Yeah.
good. So again, interesting to see what they did there, and I did like the new suit. I liked all the new gadgets. I thought it was cool that he like got to put his wings around him like a cape, hold up the shield, and a helicopter landed on him, and nothing happened, which I just don't understand. I don't understand like what the shield can do because later on Carly hits him with a metal pipe and he flies across the room and drops the shield. And it's just like I get that she's a super soldier, but that was a helicopter that just dented off to the side of
Yeah. That part was awesome though, with like and I might be
it was
calling
so
this
cool.
the wrong thing, but it was like a phalanx, like it's like that old like Spartan thing where like they'd all put the shields and like create the impenetrable
Yeah,
wall.
yeah,
That's like
yep.
the vibe I got from the helicopter part. But vibranium, man, like doesn't
That
make
just doesn't make
sense.
sense though. Yeah. Against certain
Especially,
things it's unstoppable.
yeah,
And then in some other scenarios it's like, oops, it wasn't turned on. No one
like
turned the vibranium on.
there was a moment even earlier that I was going to bring up that when he throws it when he's fighting Batroc at the beginning, he like chunks a shield at him and he just blocks it with his forearms, and I'm like, his arms not like in 16 pieces right now?
Yeah, because he's supposed to be a human again.
Yeah,
So
like
that guy's not even supposed to be a super soldier.
yeah. So I'm very confused because he also, I mean, Cap kicked his ass, but he kind of fought Cap like they did like a few moves to each other in Winter Soldier. So I'm like, is Batroc enhanced in some way? Is he a mutant or what's going
Yeah,
on
but the
here?
difference is Cap dropped the shield and took off his helmet and then whooped his
That's
ass.
true.
And
That's
it's
true.
like this other scenario that wasn't happening at all.
Yeah. So I don't
But
know.
we're
Maybe Batroc is the MCU's Wolverine, and he's got the adamantium in his forearms, and he could just block it. So
that would explain a
it's
lot.
the big reveal coming soon.
Yeah.
He also,
Um,
in that same scene, he also just threw one of those chairs, and it like deflected the shield. So I was like, I guess that's a vibranium chair.
yeah. It's just I don't understand the shield sometimes. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think that's just a
It really
comic
does make me
comic
mad. As a
books.
power person who's always looking at the power levels, as I mentioned many times before, I don't like it. The shield doesn't make sense.
I think if
Um,
we ever have merch we definitely have to have one that's like, I'm a power level person. I like to
I'm a power level guy.
I like to
I
figure
care
out the
about
powers.
power level. We'd have to probably do power balance or something. Talking about the balancing of these power levels. Power level balancer, maybe. There we go.
We'll
But
figure it out.
I also got a question for you. Kind of getting to that part where they are all fighting. Carly's there before, and she's like, "Yo, this is it. Time to go." Didn't really get the vibe that her people were down for the cause anymore, and it
Yeah.
really made me think about who she was. And then later on, she does something that really confirms what I thought in that moment. Like, man, she's just tripping. She doesn't even have her people behind her. She's about to get these people killed. And they don't even really want to die. And
Yeah.
later on, when she like tries to get in the car and kill everybody, it was just like, dude, you're so lost. I felt really bad for her on this episode.
Yeah, I felt that too, and even like there are a couple moments in the episode before this one, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago, where like, the crew is kind of questioning her when she, has kind of started to go a little off the, or when she like blew up that building of people, and I think there was one other
They're like,
moment.
yo, people were still inside, and she was like, who cares?
Yeah, so she was like,
And then I think they go ahead.
I was just gonna say she was, starting to kind of lose them. So I didn't know if there was even going to be a moment in this episode where she did, and like she even like kind of went rogue, but they didn't go that far. But yeah, I mean, she definitely. I think they're just driving home the point that while they have their cause is worthy, she's not doing it the right way. Well, I was trying to be careful about what I said because like they have a good point and they have a good
They looped
cause.
around on the cause though with Sam's speech, I thought. So they did a good job of being like, "Hey, here's Carly going full evil, definite bad guy." But here's us acknowledging still further that the cause didn't change and the cause was still good. Um, but yeah, also thought, hey, everyone just showed up. It's a fight. Everyone's fighting. Guess what? Johnny Walker's here. No one has a problem. No
Morgan.
one stopped him. When Bucky even arrives, and I've got a lot of questions that we're gonna get to, but Bucky even arrives, and he like walks by like security all around this place and stuff, and I'm
Oh
just
yeah, at the
confused how
beginning.
like Johnny Walker just shows up, walks by everybody, is there, and nobody's like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, don't be here. You're not supposed to be here because he wasn't supposed to be there, right?
That's true,
No one
but
sent him in and stuff, but he shows up. He gets to fight. I liked his moment, purely because when he went to grab the thing, uh, he had his fight with his shield or whatever. He kind of did good and did bad in those fights. Carly starts to get away, and he can either chase Carly, which I felt like for him was what Captain America needed to do: get the bad guy at all costs. I'm Captain America. I chase down the bad guy and I win. And then he does like this move, and I felt like it was great acting. And that he was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm remembering that I don't need to be Captain America and I need to be a hero, and I'm gonna go save these people instead." And what I thought was really cool and symbolic, and I might be reading too much into this, is right when that's happening, they have the shot of Bucky looking up already. They go back to that shot, and the shield falls down.
yeah.
And it's like he was letting go of trying to be the next Captain America in that point and was finally starting to just be a hero, symbolic with the shield, and then like literally in the actions that he went to go save the people instead of chase the bad guy. So I thought that was a fun moment for him. I know you've liked him, so I was excited to share how much I liked that moment with you. But I didn't love his character all of a sudden. But I thought that was a really cool moment for him and a really good way to like kind of tie all that together. I'm sure a lot of people didn't catch it, or I might be just making it up in my head, but I really liked that moment a ton. And then the fact that he couldn't do it and he gets beat up and thrown down further, and then him and Bucky are both looking up as Sam saves the day. Just again a cool moment to show like U.S. Agent in my mind was born in that moment.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was kind of like his pivotal moment, right? Like, was he going to choose like revenge? Because I mean, that's still the thing that like was motivating him the most. He was like, I'll never let the person that killed Lamar get away, and like, so
Yeah, and I
that's
didn't even think about that. So good call out there.
and so he made the right choice, and when it mattered. So I think I really like the character. I like to specify that I'm not like team John Walker should be Cap,
Yeah,
but
I know. I got you.
uh So I liked that, and I liked that. I mean, even beyond that decision, which I think was like kind of the culmination of his whole character arc, was just that he also, he did that, but then not only that, then he worked with Sam and Bucky through that little extent of the fight that was happening. They kind of all went together, and it's not like they like teamed up and had a meeting or anything, but like,
Yeah, but
what?
at one point when they split up, he did just kind of take an order to go one way and stuff rather than being like, listen to me, I'm calling the shots. No, you go that way, I'm going this way and stuff. So I did think in that moment, even just that small part, I felt like what you were saying was definitely kind of being intentionally portrayed.
Yeah, exactly. And he went along with it. He never tried to like kind of butt in like you just said, nor did he try to like take the shield back, or even later when Sam's giving his speech or anything. He just sat there and was listening. He had they could have done so many things with him to make him a
Worse.
contrarian to any of that, but they didn't. So I liked that. And one other thing about him that I wanted to ask you was when he's kind of getting beat up by all of them when he first arrives, like they're all on top of him. He's got the shield,
And he
and
looks at the shield.
he looks at the Medal of Honor. What to me when in that post credit scene when we saw him making the shield, I thought it was on the outside. So seeing it in that shot be on the inside made me wonder, like, what do you think? Like, what do you think that means to him? Is that like a reminder to do the right thing, or is because since the reason he got those medals, was like the worst day of his life, he said. I was just wondering, like, what do you think? Why did he put that there, and what do you think that like means to him?
I think he put it there, and it's gonna be like a good guy moment here for him. I think he put it there because he one lost Lamar, and him and Lamar had that conversation about medals and the fact that he was getting all those for the worst day of his life, and then Lamar died, which is his new worst day of his life. And I think he put that medal there to remind him that serving is hard. Every day could be the worst day of your life. You need to continue to work and be worthy of coming out the other side of this hard day, and being willing to accept those medals. So the idea that this moment might be really hard, but remember, if you get through this, they're going to give you a medal for it. So do things in this moment that are going to be worthy of that medal, in a sense. And so just kind of a reminder of Lamar. And no matter how bad things get, you can keep pushing forward, and you can finish the job and finish the mission. And
Okay,
he's going to be out there doing that for Lamar now.
I like that. So it's like almost like a reminder to do the right thing, kind of like
Yeah,
remember
and
why
a
you're doing
reminder
this.
that this job's going to come with a
Yeah,
lot of the worst days of your life, type of thing.
I like that. And
Yeah, man,
I
nailed that.
liked.
Yeah, nailed
I just
that. Postscript, nailed it. Send it.
I liked everything with him this episode, but I don't fully absolve him. Like, not that they want us to, but maybe they did. But because I mean, he just was part of the team. Again, they're not really a team, but
They go out of their way to say they're not a team.
yeah. But I just like that. Even from the other direction, Sam and Bucky not like starting shit with him, because I mean, one episode ago, which maybe was a few days in universe time, like he was literally trying to kill them. So like
Yeah,
I kind of liked that, while like, and I don't know, I might be reading too deep into this, but Sam showed a lot of empathy for Carly, even though she's kind of gone off the deep end. He was still trying to do the right thing and solve things. So I kind of think that, like, in not starting shit with John, I was kind of reading between the lines, and that like he was kind of doing that with him too. Like, you know what, we had our shit, but like you're being cool right now, so let's be cool. Um,
yeah, I think so too. I got a question about him and Bucky splitting up from Sam before we go any further down that side
okay.
of where they kind of split off into two
Yeah,
roads.
yeah, yeah.
Who do you think? Who do you think had the idea to use the app?
I think it was Bucky, because he had that
You think so?
phone from. You mean between Bucky and John Walker?
John Walker, like which one of them was like, "Yo, let's just use the app to round these guys up"?
I I want to say it was Bucky, just because he had the
He was
phone
holding the phone.
from because
That's
they handed him the phone earlier in the ep because Carly called him. So I think he
yeah,
was just
that's
still
true.
like had the phone from then, but
So here's why I asked that, because I feel like I've been hard on Bucky being old and not having good technology or knowing potentially maybe how to use it, and then in
yeah,
some of the approaches being less than like thinking things through, kind of just brute force. Um, and then talked about how like he's just going up and coming down and going up and coming down and going up and coming down. So although that he's been at different points in time in the timeline in history, he's not like there fully to absorb everything going on. Like, oh, I'm here for a day to kill these two people.
right.
Probably didn't stop and say, oh, what? This is the new iPhone?
Yeah,
Super cool.
like old man doesn't know
So
technology.
yeah, but now all of a sudden he's like, use the app to catch these guys.
Yeah,
If that's the case, it just makes me feel. I loved that. I wish they would have had another moment where Sharon or Sam could have said something to him like, "Did I hear you use an app to catch bad guys? What are you doing, old man?" Just
yeah.
something like that, and he could be like, "I'm learning,
The
I'm doing good now too, apps and technology."
I thought that was like a payoff for all of that, like you were saying. So maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but that's exactly what I read into it. It's like, oh, okay, this old man is upgraded from his flip phone. He knows what he's doing.
I have okay, so I have a section here of things where I think they were doing potential nods, and that was one of them that I was wondering. I was having to call potential intentional, or potentially intentional. So do we actually think this was intentional? And that was going to be one of them. Do we think that he was like given that opportunity to show, like, check it out? Old man River over here used the app and got these guys easy 1, 2, 3 easy. And then I got a couple more like those, but I'll save them. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to ask that before we went any further because we were kind of talking about those two and how they went off there.
Yeah, and I liked it, and I loved that it was kind of like a subversion of like, oh, they're gonna go and they're just gonna be like a super soldier Bucky and John Walker versus the super soldier Flag Smashers. It's nope, like we got you. And in that moment, I liked that. Just to make sure I don't say the wrong thing, because I did write it down. John Walker in that moment, hits us with the Lincoln quote that is "Mercy bears richer fruit than strict justice," which I just thought was one. It was just funny that like that was his like one liner that he's dropping in there, like trying to be fun, but also just like kind of hits on the exact themes that he's been dealing with in the show. Like he's revenge is not the answer, and
And Bucky even tells him, not from you.
yeah,
Says not you don't
yeah.
say that. So I
Yeah.
thought that was funny too, for sure.
Yeah, I love their little bromance is way too strong, but just that they had those kind of moments, especially like I just said, given that they were fighting to the death essentially just shortly before that.
Yeah.
Before I forget, one thing that you just said that reminded me of it that I wanted to touch on. Um, at the very beginning of the ep, when Buck's walking up to the plaza or wherever everything's going down, and the soldiers are like Sergeant Barnes, and they kind of step out of his way. I really liked that because like it just shows that like
He's got that
he's
respect. He's
yeah,
the
and
OG.
people know who he is, and he is more than the Winter Soldier. Like they didn't call him that; they called him Sergeant Barnes, and so um I
Um, Go ahead.
uh I was just gonna say they didn't really get to it in the finale, and maybe they'll get to it in this movie that's coming out, or maybe it'll be something else. But how they transition from Falcon Winter Soldier to Captain Winter Soldier. I was kind of hoping we would get the evolution of Bucky to the White Wolf or whatever it may be, but I felt like one of the main themes of the
Sergeant
show
Barnes.
for him, yeah, even that was that like he's leaving or trying to at least leave the Winter Soldier behind. Like I am no longer the Winter Soldier. I am James Bucky Barnes. So I like that we got a taste of that in that moment from those guards, but I was not gonna lie, I was hoping we'd get kind of like the full evolution to what he's gonna be next, but we didn't quite get it yet.
Yeah, and they might just be saving that and then doing their own thing for it. In which case, that's going to make me excited
Yeah.
for that part. But pretty interesting. He had again another part of his technology. He looked down and he could see which way the people had went.
Yeah.
And they split up, and I thought it was funny in the moment. I was like, it'll be great if Sam goes down to the wrong one and like misses the whole fight. But obviously he picks the right path. And before he gets there, we get a lot more information on Sharon. and
Yeah.
probably a lot of questions here for us to dive into. But Sharon's there. I feel like this means Sharon is obviously the power broker. I don't think they can do any more hidden gems. We got people, saying it in lines of dialogue. So,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a second person behind the curtain that could be the power broker that she was representing. I don't think she was impersonating the power broker. I don't think, I think she's the power broker. And I know there's a lot on the internet about, maybe she's a scroll, maybe a bunch of other stuff, but I don't think that's the case. And the real reason is because I always feel magical when I do that. Um, when they're talking, Carly says something. I think I wrote it down. Let me get here. I feel like I wrote that down. What she said.
Just cut me off whenever
Oh,
you find it. Oh, you got it.
yeah, you just want to control the world that hurt you. I actually never found it, but it just came back into my head. Thank you, brain. So it's something close to that. I don't know if that was exactly it,
Yeah, yeah.
but I thought that was like, okay, that's not a scroll motive. This is definitely sounds like Sharon Carter. I don't feel like that's a scroll. That's got to
Yeah.
be her. Now later on, when she's in the government hearing, in the after credits scene, which is what I'm calling it, or that one actually was after
Yeah,
credits, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, it was.
Um, she says that would be my highest honor or whatever to go back to her job. A couple things I thought were weird about that made me think she might be a scroll is like the highest honor thing didn't sound right, but then she's probably just selling it to them, so it's not really her; it's her selling it. So it's not
Right,
sounding
right.
like her. Kind of sounds still spot on. The other thing I didn't like about that, which and actually we don't have to go that far there yet, but they said old division, and it's like, what? Isn't Shield destroyed? How could she have a job in our old division? That doesn't make sense to me, unless that dude is Hydra, and she's like going to meet up with Val and Madam Hydra and be a part of that, team, the Thunderbolts that you've been talking about.
I'm still not convinced that Val is Hydra. Not that you're saying she is. I know you're just like referring to
I'm
her,
I'm
but
saying she's Madam Hydra who's going to become a secret agent for the Leviathan or whoever else. That's what I'm saying. But I think she'll still form a team and run it like Fury did or does. And
yeah.
I think that Agent Carter could be there.
Hmm.
But I moved really far away. Her and Carly's confrontation was really cool. I liked the exchanges of dialogue, and again, it just added to my sorrow for Carly for this episode. You know what I mean? Like I feel like everyone that's kind of like believing in her cause came to stomp on her parade, which they kind of had. At least Sam had been telling her he was going to have to do that if she didn't change. But as for Sharon, like she's got that's like the ultimate betrayal. I feel like mom set you up, big sis set you up to go do something. You betrayed her, and now she's here to end it all and make you, eat crow and go to jail. And eventually, even worse, Sharon ends up being the one that kills her. So
Yeah, and I think she
I
was
thought
always
that
going
was
to kill
weird.
her.
Oh
Like
wow.
I don't think things just escalated to that point. Like I think it was always happening because and more on this in a minute, but if she's a power broker, that means that in episode 2 or whatever when she got those texts that was like you took what was mine, I'm going to kill you. Then presumably that was Sharon and it seemed like I know that Carly was basically the one that revealed to us that Sharon was the power broker. So to you, do you think she always knew that, or is that something Carly just put together and like, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you think that because they made it sound like they had a relationship, like Carly and the Flag
I think
Smashers were like her
she
bodyguards, kind of almost.
I think that she does know that she was the power broker the whole time.
Okay, yeah, and so because of that, I was like, well, that's a loose end. So she's definitely going to be making sure that gets taken care of, just like she killed Batroc when he found out. Um, I'm trying to remember how that exactly played out. Yeah, she just
Bartrock shows
she
up and he's like, "Oh, you're the power broker." He had overheard
yeah, yeah. And then she
Carly
just
calling her
shoots him,
that.
right?
Well, here's another one of my potential nods or potentially intentionals. So I'll ask that here in a sec. But yeah, she and Carly are talking. He walks up. he asked for like 4 times more money.
Yeah.
Um, and then she's like, I don't do blackmail, and then shoots the guy, and
And
that's the
Carly
end of
shoots
that part.
her in that opportunity, right?
Yep, yep. Carly shoots her in that opportunity,
Yeah.
and then Sam shows up.
Right.
Um,
That's right.
but question,
Yeah.
potentially intentional. I'm hoping you remember this about me, and through me remember enough about this because I think you watched early on. But Sharon Carter was also, God, I wish I knew the actress's name. This seems
Um,
disrespectful almost.
Emily Van Camp or something like that.
Yeah, actually, that sounds familiar. That sounds right. But she was in another show that I really enjoyed, Revenge, and it's really all about blackmail. So the fact that she was like, "I don't do blackmail," and then shoots that dude like instantly, immediately, I felt like that was a nod to Revenge, the show that she came
It might have
from.
been, yeah.
Potentially intentional, I don't know, probably not. But in my head, I was like, "Oh man, that's got to be a shout out to Blacklist or not Blacklist. I love that show. Revenge, the show she was on,
I could
where
see
she like
that.
went through getting revenge on everybody and using blackmail at just the longest stint over like 9 seasons to hundreds of people to get what she wants ultimately. And yeah, but so I just thought that line and her doing that immediately was pretty cheeky, and I thought potentially intentional there.
Potentially intentional. I could see it. But
Potentially intentional.
bro, while we're here, and I kind of already gave this spiel, but when in
Spiel me
Rome,
again.
when in Rome, I'm not saying I invented the theory, but as you recall in the earlier episodes, I was like, what if it's Sharon? What if she's the power broker?
Yeah,
Even
I said
I,
you couldn't convince me she wasn't after that.
yeah, and she is, but now I don't even know how much I like it. And this dates back to what I was saying. I don't know if it was last week or whatever, but if Sharon got blipped, I just have a very hard time believing she could become the power broker in that short amount of time and like
Do you know
wield
that the
that much
power
influence.
broker? Let me ask you this: do you think the power broker existed before the blip?
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. If that is true and all this is what I'm supposed to believe, then I have to believe that yes. And it's like I think we talked about this too, that it must be like a Dread Pirate Roberts thing, that there already was a power broker and she either killed them and took over, or just maybe didn't kill them but took over. Because there's no like I just find it really hard to believe that she would have like created this entire identity in like a year and a half in Madripoor. Unless she's just that badass, which maybe she is. I mean, she did take on like
So
12
what's
dudes
your
by
theory
herself.
then? She's not the power broker now that they
No,
told us she's a power
no,
broker?
I don't. So she is, because I don't think they're doing something like that. It seems a little sloppy to me. But so maybe she just didn't get blipped and it was all part of her plan to just let the world think she did. Or, maybe it was like Dread Pirate Roberts' thing where she infiltrated and just took over. Um, but yeah, I don't know. And
So do you think she's a scroll?
I don't think she's a scroll, mostly because I don't give me credit for this because I didn't figure it out, but I saw somebody point out that if she was a scroll, why at the beginning of the episode would she Mission Impossible disguise? Because scrolls can just change who they want to be.
People are saying Mission Impossible disguise, and I get that, and I'm for it, and I understand it. But everyone remembers that Natasha used that in Captain America, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just calling it Mission Impossible. I didn't even know other people were, but that's just my boy Ethan Hunt.
Everybody is on the internet.
Show,
Everyone is.
show.
Um,
But I mean, unless that's like a 5 head 3D chess move, but like, you
well, what
know,
about this though? Let me ask you this. Well, I mean, here's what I'll say. Sharon Carter couldn't be like so if Sharon Carter's a scroll couldn't just like change forms and then change back in front of Sam and Bucky. They'd have to have some kind of explanation of how they got through, not looking like themselves.
yeah, but do they really need to go that far? I mean, she could have just been like, I'm fucking Sharon Carter, bro. I run shit. I snuck in, you know? Like,
I'm the power broker. I mean, I'm a
I'm
scroll.
just saying that's if so, that's like
Scrolls
a
can't do
massive
this.
misdirect, you know?
Yeah, well, we can get more into that because I've got more to ask about that. I've got more to ask
Yeah, like
about.
I'm just saying, if she is a scroll, then I think that was an oversight and not an intentional misdirect. I'll
Hmm.
just put it that way.
Let me ask you this. She's the power broker. She's evil. She hires someone to kill Sam. And then in a moment, she decides to save Sam because what, it benefits her more?
Yeah, I was wondering
Maybe?
the same thing. And it also made me wonder, which I think we touched on this when we talked about it last ep, but episode 1, when Sam, is doing that mission that starts off the show with Batrox
Hmm.
involved, was that the power? Did she set that up too?
Yeah.
In your
Yeah.
mind? Yeah. So
It does seem that way because she was like, I'll pay you
I'll
extra
pay you
this time.
double or whatever. Yeah. So I thought the same thing. So part of me wondered, since I mean maybe that was just, hey, we want to open the show with a cool mission. No, it's not anything deeper than that. But if it is, I'm wondering if she even was trying to get him killed then. Like maybe what she wanted from that was for him to
No,
get
he
killed.
seemed to be called in unexpectedly on that.
Okay. So then, yeah, I mean, maybe it was just that like she thought she
I
could.
think even the last time could have been when they called him for the thing he did for um, Samuel Jackson, Fury. Remember, Fury's the one that hired him to go after that boat.
Are we talking about Batroc now?
Yeah,
Okay.
weren't that who we've been talking about the whole
Yeah,
time?
yeah. I thought I got confused. But so, what are you saying? Sorry.
So instead of Sharon like, "Ooh, I'll pay you double this time," being a reference to the opening scene, I thought
Oh,
maybe
maybe a
it
reference
would
to
be, "I'll pay
that.
you double this time." And hey, I know Captain America or Sam just embarrassed you. You can go kill him on this mission.
Yeah. Okay.
But so the Sam part referencing, hey, I know he just punked you out there in the world, and I'll pay you double what I paid you last time to deal with Captain America and get that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think that necessarily could be the case anymore now, the way other things have shaken out, unfortunately. Um,
Yeah. Maybe it
but
was
yeah,
just trying to like make the most of the opportunity because like if everything would have went off smoothly for her and Sam and Batroc killed Sam, then good for her, right? But since things kind of didn't shake out that way, maybe she
well,
was
why
like,
good for her? That's what I didn't understand. Like, why would she want Sam dead?
I mean, she might she's probably mad at all of them because they all abandoned her. Like Chris Evans, Cap didn't get her name cleared. Sam didn't. Like I
Yeah, but
think
if she
she
wanted to kill those two, she could have done it 100 times over.
right,
She defends a bunch of people coming to kill them.
but I think her objectives at that point were that Carly and these people stole this shit from me, and I've got the Falcon and the Winter Soldier here that I can use them to help me find them. So it's kind of like
So
the
now you think
enemy
the
of my
power
enemy
broker
is my
needs
friend
help?
type of thing. But I think at the end she didn't kill him because at that point she was like, all right, well, with the way things have played out right now, like let me just continue down this path of like helping them and getting this pardon and getting back into the government or whatever. I don't know. I think it was an opportunist thing, but it was kind of weird. So that's my
Yeah.
only explanation is that she was just like, all right, let me just take
But
advantage of the situation, I guess.
so she saves Sam. Sam saves the girl, and then Lance has this amazing speech, something they've kind of been building up and touching on this whole time about her cause, and like I said earlier, making sure that if they gave Carly the full evil turn this episode, they wanted to make sure they separated her cause and bring that back into focus, make it justified. I thought it was really cool. Like, hey, this person just died trying to, do this, and you don't even seem to want to stop and make you think why or
Yeah.
ask why. And so that was fun. The cameras and everything, it was cool so that he could give the speech to the whole freaking world. Don't even really have much to touch on that. Loved it all. The one thing that I took from it was when he finished, Bucky and him interaction made it seem like Captain America and Bucky were back together again. And Bucky announced, as I mentioned in one of the other episodes, Captain America, after he freed everybody in the first movie and then walks back in the camp, he says, "Hey, everybody, give it up for Captain America." So he's really the one that gets that cemented. And then I feel like when they're walking up, he's like, "Nice job, Cap." It's like
Yeah.
him cementing it again.
Yeah, that was big.
But now this is the one thing I want to talk about. Sharon ends up being there, and Bucky's there, and he's like, "Hey, let's get out of here." So Bucky and Sharon leave together. Does that mean they're together now?
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't think so, but that was I did wonder
I
like
thought
that kind of an implied like at least something, but I don't think they were going that
I
far.
thought I thought maybe she goes back to being the power broker in Madripoor or Madrigold or whatever it's called, and
Measurable.
Bucky goes with her, and Bucky is like her bodyguard without realizing he's protecting the power broker until someone like slips up and is like, "Why are you helping the power broker?" And he's like, "What? I'm helping the power broker, you idiot." And they're like, "Yeah, you are." And he's like, "I'm helping Sharon Carter." And they're like, "Who do you think the power broker is, Bucky?" And he's like,
You crazy for
"What?"
that one.
I think that could happen because I don't know where else
No.
Bucky's supposed to go.
Well, he's
And that's
apparently
another question I
feeling
have
with
for
Sam.
you. Whenever you're ready, I want to talk about where all these people are going. It's something you touched on, and I've got a
Yeah.
lot of questions about it.
Well, before we step away from the
Lots.
speech,
Yeah,
I just wanted to hit a little bit more on that because I felt like that's kind of like what the whole show was building toward was that speech,
Agreed.
and
Agreed.
it was awesome. I think that was probably the highlight of the episode. It was very well written, and obviously it kind of encapsulates what's going on in the real world in a lot of ways as well, about like these people in authority and stuff just not getting what's going on and not doing the right things really. And so, in a show full of superheroes and make believe, this is kind of one of the most far out there things. Like I wish this would actually happen in real life, like that we, could have somebody like a Captain America figure like stand up like that in front of the whole world. And I thought it was interesting that like it was kind of the culmination of the type of Cap Sam is going to be and the type of Cap that like the world needs him to be, because while Steve Rogers was obviously like a great person, like always tried to do the right thing and stuff, he never was really in the public eye like fighting for those things. It was never really that much of like a platform. He just did good and like people loved him and heard about it, but he never like, you know, I don't
I
know if I'm
think
saying this the right way, but like
no, no, I think a good way to maybe put it is that, um, both people love their country. Um, Steve loved it and didn't trust the government to do the right thing. And a lot of his actions were driven by trying to do the right thing that the government's trying to cover up and do the wrong thing on. And I think that ends up being behind the shadows more,
yeah.
not out in front in the open. And I think something that Sam's looking to do and did with this speech at least is, I love my country and I'm going to try to work and make my government better. And I'm going to call on them to hold themselves accountable to the duty they have to the people.
Yeah.
And I want to represent the people and not the government. And I thought that was the distinction he was making from Johnny Walker, who was trying to be Cap while representing the government.
Yeah.
Sam wants to be Cap while representing the people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Um, and I think again, it's not fun to ever like start going on paper about like what Steve did wrong because I don't love attacking the character that way. But I think there were a lot of things that this series touched on that showed that Steve wasn't perfect and he often made the wrong decision, even with the best intentions. And I think a good example of that was the Isaiah Bradley
Well, he didn't know
scenes.
about Isaiah Bradley.
Right. And I think it was kind of like by intention though and design. Like I think if he wanted to know, he could have known and he didn't and he was out chasing other conspiracies or like rebellion is against his government rather than like I said, I think this was probably a simple way to put it. I think Steve's rebelling against the government. I think Johnny Walker wants to represent it and I think Sam wants it to be better. And I feel like instead of stepping up and wanting the government to be better, Cap said, "Fuck the government. I'll go do this by myself. We don't need them involved. I don't trust them ever." And not that he's wrong, but you're never gonna eliminate that issue. You're just gonna be fighting against it, like he did against Hydra his entire life. And Sam's hopefully trying to, kill the corruption where it starts, at the source of the problem, and is willing to kind of tackle those bigger issues on a broader stage and wanting to be that symbol. I think Captain America never really even wanted to be a symbol, you know. But I think Sam's realizing now, I'm going to pick up the shield and I'm going to represent and I'm going to symbolize the people and not just the right way to do things, but the way we need to start doing things. And I'm not
Yeah.
just going to save the day. I'm going to make us all examine why I had to save the day.
Yeah, he's really going to utilize that platform and like yeah, like basically what you said. And one thing I loved, which is obvious, but I still loved it, is the senator when they're kind of having that little discussion, and he's like, this is way more complicated than you understand. And he's like, I'm a black man wearing the stars and stripes. Like, who would understand better than me? And it's like, he's exactly right, because the answer to this question of, the refugees and everything, it is complicated. There is no easy answer for it. And so the senator just, is doing what's right for like the wealthier, I don't want to get, I don't want to paint that issue simply, but he's just doing kind of like the easy way out of what they think, let's just get all these refugees out. That's all.
Let's
But
label them terrorists.
yeah, he's taking the easy way out because it is complicated. Whereas Sam taking up the shield, that's what we've had, 6 episodes all about, and the implications of that as a black man taking that up and all the baggage that's come with it. And like, that's also a complicated answer, to like if that should happen or not. So I just love that he was like, he's like, I understand complicated, bro. So I just love that, and I obviously I like that they got the vote stopped. They aren't rounding all of them up or whatever. But I kind of wish that they had provided some sort of, not solution, because it is a complicated thing that just isn't going to have an easy solution, but like they kind of just didn't even address it. Like, it is a sticky situation that it's just like, all right, well, we're not having this vote. And then they kind of left it like, so I just would have liked an answer as to like, okay, so what are they doing?
Well, I think it was nice of them to just to even note that they decided to push the vote. I don't know.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
I'm letting them off the hook there, but I thought that was good enough. Um, let's see. So they walked off together. Um, you ready for another one of my potential intentional nods?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, potentially intentional. Um, I think when they were walking up at the very beginning, opening dialogue of the episode, and Sam's like, "I'm almost there," and Bucky says, "What's the plan?" I felt like that was a nod to the first episode,
Oh yeah.
where, "What's the plan?" and Sam just jumps out of the plane and leaves them behind, and then Bucky has to jump out of the plane and then run to go catch up. It was like they're doing it. They're forming a super team. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bucky was like, Steve always had a plan. And
Yeah.
uh
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of like another way of him stepping into that new Captain America role, which I also just love that um right at the beginning, right when he's revealed in the suit and stuff, after that like really first quick fight scene, just that guy's like, "Who are you?" And he's just like, "I'm Captain America." I just love that it's
Yeah,
like, all right,
yeah.
where he's 100% bought
Boom.
in, it's all happening. Oh,
Yeah,
and
I did.
that guy also uh brought back up the he says like, I thought he was on the moon. So like I wonder if there's gonna be some sort of like kind of funny reveal to that, like if Cap is
That
on the
was one of
moon
the
or something.
questions I. That's one of the questions I have. Why do you think they keep doing that? I feel like it has to mean something.
I feel like there has to be a
Um,
payoff, and not that the payoff is that he's on the moon, but there a payoff somehow.
I felt like I'm not gonna get into it yet. I have a lot to say on that though.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of went off track with the Captain
No, no,
America
no. I
thing.
mean, that's okay. That's what happens in the potentially intentional. Um, the other thing that I want to touch on, they said it right after, um, and I don't think it is really, but I like believing it to be. But actually, I'll save this one. I'm gonna save this one. What a tease! That's how you do it, ladies and
Ooh,
gentlemen.
baby.
But let's go through all these after scenes first, and then I'll come back to it. I want to talk about the scrolls. So I have a lot of thoughts around that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Um, But so where do we head to first after we leave that awesome speech?
Um,
Do think we go into Bucky's resolution, right?
okay. Yeah.
So then Bucky, my question here, the only thing I have for it is, so I guess he just finished all of the names and did all the apologies. What was I supposed to take away from the scene where he looked in and saw those people and then he walked on? What do you think I was supposed to take away from that? Like,
Yeah,
what's the message there?
I thought that scene went on a little too long.
Yeah,
Wait,
it was
like,
weird to me.
I mean, I guess it was just like, I don't, because the girl saw him, right? Isn't that the implication that,
See,
like,
I don't know. That was part of it. Did she see him? Did she not see him? Is it like why would she see him and know anything about the other conversation he had with that guy?
yeah,
And was she saying, "Don't come in," or "Hey, what's up?"
I don't know. I think it was
Like they
maybe
had a
just
date that he
neither.
ran out of.
Yeah, that's true. Which, you think she would be feeling some type of
Hey,
way
is
about
that
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 at
guy
least.
that
Yeah.
lets me on the date? I'm gonna
I,
have some words for him right now.
I mean, my guess is that
Good
the
God.
implication is that, he told him the truth, and he kind of just he can is walking by and seeing that that guy's still living his life, and maybe, even though it didn't really show it in that scene, that maybe he did give him some sort of like closure, and so maybe that's why he's happy that it's like, okay, he's out there, he's talking to her, like, I did the right thing. I don't know, like, the scene was a little, it was like, it was a little long and a little weird, since it didn't really do much else than just show a quick look. So I don't know, but
Yeah,
that's my guess. I mean, what did you take from it?
I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to take from it. I've watched it like 6 times. I'm not sure yet what I'm supposed to take. I'll probably have to watch everything again and then maybe some of the older movies and then see how I feel. But really, my only thought, I guess, from what I was able to say, like 100%, I think they were going for, was just a simple, like, hey, that guy didn't kill himself. Like that's the best I could do.
Yeah, I mean,
Was that the dad like got back to his normal routine and the news didn't crush or kill him
yeah,
and he's okay and they're like still alive and Bucky's, you know,
yeah. I mean,
I don't
that's
know why he didn't like go inside or whatever. I mean, I think they could have just shown that scene and not even Bucky and like the old man laughing with her, and that would
yeah,
have been enough. That would
yeah,
have been better. But instead, they had to do weird stuff. They show Bucky outside in the rain watching. I was like, wait, what?
yeah.
And then the girl had to like maybe see him, maybe not see him. So it's like, what is happening? um, what came after that though? Was next
For him
the Johnny
specifically,
Walker? Well, no, I mean that's pretty much it for his storyline, right?
well, so yeah, I mean, I guess mostly, but yeah, so I guess just off screen, he did that with all those other names, and then
Yeah.
I guess present. He gave the notebook to the doctor, which has like a nice symbol, I guess. But I'd be like, damn, don't
Dang,
just
a
give,
Caps book.
yeah, don't give away that notebook.
He
But
made a mention of her earlier on too, because Sharon said, "Yeah, I heard these whatever plans aren't all pardon plans aren't all they're cracked up to be." And then Bucky says something like, "Depends what therapist you get, or
oh
not
yeah,
if you get the right therapist or something." So I thought that was cool to shout her out because I thought she did a really good job of being something for Bucky to bounce off of in some of their scenes together.
yeah. I mean, we talked about this, but I was hoping we'd get way more therapy sessions this show.
I think it could be something they go back to and fall back on. I think that that could be like the therapist for the MCU.
I hope so.
Um, like I said, I could see her coming in to like go give someone therapy, and they'd be like, "Man, what the hell is this?" And then Bucky would be like, "Oh, hey, Doctor So and So."
I'd
And
like
they'd be like,
that.
"Well, you met with Bucky," and she'd be like, "Yeah, and he's by far not even close to the worst. You wouldn't believe it." But
But
so then I guess comes John, right? John's next after that, I think, and his wrap up post credit scene. I feel like everyone got a wrap up post
yeah,
credits.
I feel like the John Walker U.S. agent reveal should have been the real post credit scene. It felt more like a post credit scene to me.
I loved that scene so much. Beyond Sam's speech, it was by far my favorite part of the episode.
Really, what'd
Um,
you like so much about it? I liked it too, but
uh,
just wondering.
I I loved the bombing that kind of gets revealed there with Val being like, "Oh, check it out. Check your phone," which I thought was a hilarious line. Like, how real is that? You know, we've often in this world of superheroes, and it's not always our time period for some of these movies, and sometimes we're in space, and so superhero movies sometimes don't feel grounded. But someone being like, "Check your phone," and then be like, "What is taking so long in there? Like, put
Yeah.
on the costume," all felt really real to me, and I just love the actress Julia Louise Dreyfus. She's amazing. So I just immediately get excited when she comes on the screen. She was hilarious. I liked the way she like paced the scene. And then I loved that he came out and she's like, "You look great." And he's like, "It's the same, but black."
Yeah.
You know? Just like in the exact tone that I thought only he, the actor, could deliver it in Wyatt. I thought that was very much like maybe even improvised line. And I just thought that was good, and I loved that the Olivia character was there. Like I said, I really like significant others in the MCU, small parts that kind of hold these larger characters together, and the MCU does a great job of utilizing those. I imagine that she will be that for him even more moving so forward. So I was glad to see she was in the scene.
Yeah.
I thought that was a choice I liked, and so I liked everything about it, man. The butler and the bombing leading into it, being a part of it for my brain and eyes, was awesome. Zemo having those type of connections, just so cool. And
Right?
I guess Zemo's kind of in between because we see the butler do his thing, then we have the agent, and then we go see Zemo. Zemo's chilling, hearing the news, loving it, like, yeah, undefeated bitches.
Yeah, man.
I'll be back for another movie. Um,
He's straight
but
impressive, and that Butler's dedicated, man. He just doesn't even care about murdering people. Uh, it's hard to find good help these days, but not for Zemo.
not at all.
And
Um,
the
go-
you think she had a part to do with it, right?
Yeah, I do. I think that
Val,
she
I
did
mean,
when she was all like, "Oh yeah, yeah." I think she helped Zemo get the message to the butler, or Zemo sent a message to her to like, "Hey, I can help you with this problem.
yeah,
Get a
which
hold of my butler. Just tell him you need a number 5."
which it's interesting because it makes me wonder. Like it could be pointing to a Thunderbolts thing, where Zemo and John Walker might even be part of a team together at some point. But it's just interesting that she was like, it's much cleaner. No, you know how many like documents this saved us from shredding and rejecting, or whatever. Which that to me sounds like government. Which that we don't really know who she is or what she does yet. But like the fact that she said
I
that,
think she works for a secret agent of a secret agency within the government. I feel like that's implied.
yeah, but we don't like she could be Hydra, like you said, or she could be like a
Obviously,
Nick
she's the
Fury.
bad side of the government.
Right, but I just
She knew he didn't have the shield anymore. How would
yeah,
she know that?
she's got
Sharon
connections.
Carter told her.
Interesting. You think they might be working together?
Yeah, I do. I think that Val's going to run a superhero squad, like you've mentioned, with the Thunderbolts, but more so Val's thing. And I think Sharon Carter, who's like Agent 13, she's already been called that before. Um, I think she could end up being part of that group. Maybe after her power broker career washes out, Val
Hmm.
comes in and scoops her up.
Interesting.
Um, but let's see, what else happened after that? Was that the last one? After then we go to Sharon Carter's.
Um.
No, we have Isaiah Bradley, of
Yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah. But
That was really good. Oh no, 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 not yet, not yet.
no, I was just gonna say. Do you think this was an intentional parallel in that U.S. agent was wearing the all black, and whereas Sam is wearing like the really bright, even a lot of white in it, kind of
I
showing
think
like
it's
the two
just,
sides of the coin. Like
I think it's comic books.
that's fair. I mean, the
Oh
U.S. agent, they're both completely basically accurate to the comics. So
yeah, U.S. agents more so now, even that it's black is now more so looking like the comics. And you mentioned earlier, Falcons are straight out of the comics. Um,
and
but
I
so
did.
then, of course, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I know I just keep adding things, but it's kind of thinking about this. It's kind of weird that Val was just like implying that she had people murdered to his wife. You know, like like does that not gonna be some red flags to Val? Like you'd think that like yeah, John Walker'd probably be
Val,
cool with that type of thing, but it's weird that like
Val's day one OG, and maybe Val's trying to scare, or I mean, Olivia, which is what I'm calling his wife, or girlfriend, is day one OG, and maybe she's been understanding of war means killing people, and these are bad people, and bad people need to die, and these people killed Lamar. She might have been happy to hear they were dead. And so
yeah,
Val's
that's
taking
true.
credit for something that gives her remorse. And I think Val is a savvy operator. So whatever she's saying to whoever, she's probably saying the right thing.
It might have even been like a
Yacht.
threat kind of
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
here's what I
maybe.
can do
Might
kind
be,
of as
might
well.
be. Okay, I feel that. I feel that. That's
Anyway,
a
sorry,
heavy,
you can say the
heavy.
next thing now. I'll stop jumping in.
Well, no, no. I was just gonna say or ask, what you thought about the Isaiah Bradley barbecue post credits. Or I guess
Yeah,
he's working in the garden and they go to
they go to the
the barbecue
museum.
after.
Yeah, that was
Um,
awesome. Like
you say awful?
awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah, okay,
I
me too.
hated that.
He, yeah, I was like,
He
dang,
doesn't
that was
deserve a
like
statue.
awesome, next level. I thought it was really cool because I'm gonna go back to something you said earlier. When those guys were like Agent Barnes, when he showed up at the beginning of the episode,
Yeah,
and then when they were in the street, and they were like, "Oh shit, Bucky, sorry we didn't recognize you and Sam."
right.
I feel like I had to ask myself, well, why would they even recognize the Winter Soldier? That's weird. And then I was like, oh man, Bucky's been a part of that museum. Like Bucky's been known
Oh yeah,
and a part of that museum since Captain America's been known. Like everyone knows who Bucky is. And it was cool because now everyone's gonna know who Isaiah Bradley is.
yeah.
Well deserved.
That's
One thing I
awesome.
did see on the internet that really took a moment that was a 10 out of 10 for me and probably made it a 9.9 out of 10,
Oh,
was that they made a good point that uh gosh, I'm War Machine. I can't think of
Brody.
his Rodney, Rhodey. I would have liked to have seen him come back and maybe be at the museum. Although then all of a sudden he's in the two museums, and that feels weird. It's like, is this guy the museum runner,
Does
or
he?
does he run this
What is he
museum now?
doing? Does he not have anything better
But
to do?
would have been cool to see him in another scene. Maybe either that. Maybe that's too much on the nose. I don't know. But would maybe even when they're taking the stuff away from Johnny Walker, he could have been in the background of the courtroom, or when they were presenting Johnny Walker, he could have been on the side looking real pissed off. I just feel like it would have been fun to get a little bit more of him. But someone on the Twitter sphere said he should have been there in that scene, and I thought, damn, I think I would have liked him here. So that sucks.
That
And
would have
then I
been
just
cool.
thought the whole time, like, why did he not come more? Like, why was he not in the final fight?
Probably the same thing as like Doctor Strange not showing up in WandaVision at the end. Probably just wanted to like have it be about Cap and the Winter Soldier. But
Yeah,
I
no,
agree. It would have been
I'm not saying writer's choice. I'm just saying, like, logically, it's kind of
yeah,
crazy to me that he wouldn't have shown up. Like,
that's
I would
true.
have felt like you would have needed to write him into a scene so that you could explain why he wasn't in another scene later, maybe. But that's probably just getting too nitpicky. But I really loved that they went back to Isaiah and they showed it's his nephew, right?
Yeah,
Or is it his grandson that's
is
there?
oh grandson. I don't know now. You've
Grandson.
confused me, and I'm upset about it.
Yay! We
I
need to
think
get
it's
some
his
kind of
grandson.
digital thing that gives me a point every time I upset you. Points for me. Either his grandson or his nephew. Either way, I just thought it was really cool that they continue to put him in those scenes because I think they are going to do that Young Avenger thing.
Yeah,
And I really, really love that.
yeah.
But yeah,
I love the all of it. I really think Carl Lumbly. Now it doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth, but the actor that's playing Isaiah, I feel like he kind of stole every scene he was in and like
yeah, agreed.
and killed it. And honestly, I think him and I would also say that about Zemo. So like they just both
Yeah,
like were
agreed
total
again. Good
total
job.
scene
Points for
stealers.
you.
But not to go off on Zemo right now, but just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, dude, loved it. It was very powerful, and I loved that like Sam is making sure that this erased history is no longer hidden. And you made a great point about like people knowing who Bucky is because of that museum. So hopefully, now the world will know about Isaiah. I I think I, I liked the way they did it in that it was, a kind of like a more subtle, like heartfelt moment of him just personally taking him and showing him. But I almost would have also liked if it was like more of like a big like event with like lots of press there being like, you know, just kind of
I
getting the
thought it
word out
was.
even more that like this is Isaiah Bradley. We're here to reveal this exhibit and like kind of a bigger
I,
thing.
I actually did think about that. I kind of ended up deciding that where I ended up landing was I'm glad they didn't do a big thing because he didn't really want to be known.
Yeah, that's
But
yeah.
what I would have liked is a nod to the Captain America walking through the museum or Bucky walking through the museum. Do you remember that? Like Captain America walks through his own museum and it's like, whoa, and is wearing a hat.
Yeah.
And a kid sees him and is like, whoa, you're Captain America. He's like, shh, I know, I'm tight. And then Bucky goes through on a hat as well
The Marvel
later on.
disguise kit.
Would have been nice if like Bradley went in a ball cap or something, and then a kid like tugged on his shoulder and he's like, "That statue looks like you, old timer." And then he was like,
Be a
"It
smart
was
kid.
me." Yeah, smart fucking kid. Kids are smart, man. Watch out, dude. If you don't think kids are smart, I'm worried about you, dude. Kids are very smart. They
You
got
are
all the
right.
time in the world, Will. They got too much
That
time.
is true. They are the future.
And then, well, I mean, I just meant like throughout the day. If you want to talk to a kid about something, by the end of the day, you've gone to work, eaten lunch, gone to the bathroom, did more work, get home. The kid has been looking up on the internet everything about that one subject. And you're going to come in, he's going to be like, yeah, what about rhinoplasty? And you're going to be like, wait, what? And they're like, exactly. You don't know shit. And then it's over. So watch out before you pick a fight with the
All
kid
right.
because
I
he'll
mean,
make
you're
you look
right.
stupid.
You're right. They don't even need the
Watch
super
out.
soldier serum.
They don't.
Whew.
All I've got left is I got another kind of potentially intentional that feeds into a discussion that I kind of talked about the scrolls. And then I've got a list of 5 people, and I want to know when you think we'll see them next. And that's all I've got left over here.
Um, let's see. Well, all we've. I'm trying to think if we hit everything. Basically, the only thing we haven't talked about is like the cookout, which is just kind of more of a um, fun moment. I love seeing Buck get to like smile and have fun, and
Mhm.
he's kind of found a family that he's been lacking ever since Steve was gone. Um,
Yeah, I didn't even think about that,
so I
man. That's
love
so
that.
beautiful.
He basically had massive uncle energy with playing with the kids and stuff. Anyway, just love that, and I love that we kind of touched on this. That they didn't really tell us where his character was going, but from that, I'm gonna take it as that they're hanging out and gonna be kind of partners for the time being. So I like that. Their relationship has come a long way. Very buddy cop movie, and now they are cool with each other. Um,
Yeah, classic buddy cop movie. Well said. Well said. Are you ready for my list?
yeah, I think so. I think so.
All right, these are rapid fire. So give me when you think we'll see them next, and what I want to know. Like, the easy answer to probably all these is, oh, Winter Soldier, Captain America 5 or 4 and 3. That's great, Will. But try to use your mind and where you else you might see them. When do you expect to see them next? And then what other places do you think that'd be fun to see the character go? Maybe. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna start with a layup, real easy, nothing new here. Just kidding. I'm starting with someone that has never been in anything else, and I'm gonna be Torres. When do you think he makes his Falcon
Ooh.
transformation? When can we see that happen?
I mean, I know you told me not to do this, but he's definitely not getting his own property. So, like, at least to
You don't
start,
think
at least to start. So, like, I think the next time we see him is obviously the next, the next Sam Wilson
you don't
thing, which is going to be Captain
you
Four,
don't
I guess.
okay, so you don't think he will end up in maybe Hawkeye or he's in the government. Anytime they do anything in the government, this guy could just walk on the
That's a
screen.
good point. That's a good point. Um,
Um,
but yeah, I mean, Hawkeye. I'm sure this information's out there, but I have just not ever taken the time to go see. But I think and I hope Hawkeye takes place during the blip. Now I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's not, but that's my hope. So if that's true, then he definitely won't be in that. But
At one point in time, you told me that was true, and I said that I didn't think it was true
It
because
it might not
Ronin
be.
happened during the blip, and so it'd be weird for Ronin and this training of the young new archer girl to have happened at the same
I mean,
time.
I get that, but maybe he's got like a dual, like maybe like that's kind of like he's dealing with that, but like the one good thing he's hanging on to is training her. But because my
There
question
were
is,
no one good things during the
if
Ronin times.
if it's not during the blip, then
I'm gonna be
like,
mad if it's during Ronin because he like
oh,
couldn't talk to anybody, and Natasha was trying to reach out to him, and
well,
Rhodey was like, "Yeah, it's him. He's gone over the deep end. If he's out there smiles training a girl on the side to be the next Hawkeye, that will not make sense
well,
to me."
two things. The blip was 5 or 6 years long, so there's lots of time in there that both things could have happened without them necessarily have to happening at the same
Oh
time.
my God, she dies and he becomes the Ronin. Well, they wouldn't kill her.
Yeah, I don't
They
think
want to
they
use
kill
her
her, but
later.
maybe.
Well, wow, dude, you're really tripping.
But
You're slipping hard now,
but
bro.
yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get too sidetracked on random Hawkeye theorizing, but because I mean probably because we could Google it right now and find out when it takes place, but
Hey,
I'm not
don't
gonna
cheat.
do that.
There's no cheating.
uh,
Um,
what were we talking? Oh
Any
yeah,
more on
so
him?
I think
Torres.
it'll be the next Sam Wilson thing because I don't
When we see him, will he be the Falcon?
like the first time we see him on screen again, or just like in
Well,
that movie
not
that
as
he's
in like
in.
the first time he's on screen, he'll be in the wings,
Yeah, but like
but
will
then
he have made the transition?
yeah, and then he'll be like, "Don't worry about me. I'm not who I used to be, Sam." And then Sam will be like, "What?" And then like 2 episodes later, or 30 minutes later into the movie, he'll like fall out of a plane. He'll be like, "Whoa!" And then all of a sudden the wings will come out and be like, "What?
Yeah,
My wingsuit? You had it this whole time?" Um,
I think he will. I mean, if they use that character again, then I think like they've been setting it up, so like why use him again and not pay that off? So yeah, I think so.
all right. Next. This is this one's probably gonna be similar to your answer you just gave, but Johnny Walker. When do we see him next? And then what else would you like to see him in?
I almost hope that he's not in the next cap. Like I hope they just that it doesn't always have to be tied to Sam Wilson. Like let's see Johnny Walker in something else. So I hope it like I mean obviously we know nothing in the next few years cuz I mean not that Marvel couldn't hide some stuff and do some surprise announcements, but like we pretty much know all the movies and shit coming out for the next few years. So, but I would love to see him in like a Dark Avengers or a Thunderbolts. So we're something where he's like the not the bad guy, but not necessarily a good guy either. More like a Suicide Squad type of thing, or like a Covert Ops, Black Ops. I'd love to see
The
that.
the arc I imagine for him is he'll end up in something like that, and it'll go so dark that the girl does pull him out, and Olivia's like, "This isn't you," and then he'll go pick up um, being a hero and not a hand for hire agent anymore.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do that because the way the finale played out is that they like redeemed him. He made the right choice. He did this. He did this. So like
I don't think they full on redeemed
no,
him though.
they didn't. But like they treated it as like as in his eyes, at least he's like doing the right thing. So it'll be interesting to see if like he struggles with like getting orders to do something kind of messed up, or if he's just like cool.
Yeah, it will be. I think he'll find another place to kind of get involved outside of Captain America 4.
I hope
I
so.
think Johnny Walker will show up somewhere before Captain America 4. I hope so.
Okay, yeah,
I hope so.
yeah, me too.
Um okay, we've got 3 4 more I lied because I added Torres there right before I asked you. So next, this one is going to be kind of fun. Zemo. When do you think we'll see
Emo.
Zemo again? And where would you like to see him?
I mean, kind of the same answer that I just said. Like, I would love to see him. I mean, I guess it wouldn't have to be tied to Johnny Walker necessarily, but I would love to see Thunderbolts. Like, I would love to see Zemo leading a squad of kind of villainous people.
So does Zemo lead the Thunderbolts, or does Johnny Walker lead the Thunderbolts?
So I don't know if Johnny Walker was in the Thunderbolts. He might have been, and I could easily see the MCU just making him a part of it to like make things easier and cleaner. I know that he was a Dark Avenger, and he might have been a Thunderbolt too. I don't know enough certainty to say that for sure. But so I would love to just to see the Thunderbolts though, because Zemo did lead the Thunderbolts at one point in the comics. So I don't know. I just would love to see him in that kind of like leadership role and um kind of be more of like a main character in something.
Um, to me, at this point, it has to be like an all hands on deck for Zemo to come back, which makes me nervous. The outlet I think he could find is, as you mentioned, the Thunderbolts. So then he could be released to go do stuff and then put back in captivity, and released to go do stuff and put back in captivity.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't see like Bucky needing to go again to him or Wakanda going to him. I don't feel like the idea that anyone else like good guy is going to go break him out and use him again. I don't think
Yeah.
that'll happen.
I agree with that. It will be like Thunderbolt Ross needing a Suicide Squad type thing or maybe even him
Like
just breaking out on his
everybody's
own to do something, you know.
yeah. So I'm getting close to one of my we're getting so close to my thought. Um
I can't
we got three
wait.
more though. Three more.
Didn't we just have 3 more?
No, we had four, and then I had to say, or three, and then I had to say four because I added
Oh,
Torres. So here we
right,
go, three
right,
more.
right.
Captain Falcon. When do you think we'll see
Captain Falcon.
Captain America? Sam.
Yeah. I
When do you
mean,
think we'll see Sam Wilson again?
the easy answer is the movie we know that's coming out, right? But it's way
Yeah,
down
you
the.
don't think we'll see him until then?
Well, I'm trying to think of.
You got No Way Home, Eternals. You're gonna have Ant-Man. He was in Ant-Man. Like they do a great job of just working these people in.
I mean, you're right. You're
You
right.
just think he's gonna be gone until Captain America's just not gonna be in a movie for 5 years.
We don't know when that movie's coming out, like, because there might even be another team up movie that comes out before Cap 4. So, like,
Yeah,
obviously,
but we know about a lot that's coming out, and we can anticipate and create movies if we want. This is our own podcast. You
yeah.
could say, "I want
Oh,
Gardens of the
man.
Galaxy," and Sam.
Yeah. Um, so, of the movies we already know exist, I don't think he'll show up in any of those.
God dang, dude!
I mean,
What?
Eternals filmed a long time ago. It's not going to be in that. I don't think there's already too much going on in Multiverse of Madness and Far From Home, so I don't think they'll throw a Captain America in either of those. Um,
What about Love and Thunder? He couldn't be in that.
no, I don't think so. There's also a lot going on there, I feel like.
Love and Thunder's on Earth. You don't think he's gonna be in a movie based on
Well, we don't know it's on Earth. I feel like it's going to take place lots of places. Like,
Asgard? The new Asgard is on Earth
that's
now.
true. That's true. That's true.
You piece of
But did you see where Russell Crowe was confirmed as Zeus, I want to say?
Yeah, I'm so confused because I thought he was already confirmed. So it really confused me. Maybe he was confirmed to the project, but not the role.
Yeah, yeah. People didn't know who he was playing, and so now they
Okay,
know.
okay. God, when I saw that, I was like, wait, what? Has
Which
this even filmed yet?
which means they're opening up a whole nother like realm of the MCU with those godlike figures. I know a lot of people were excited about like, does this mean we're gonna get a Hercules? That would be cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, maybe I need to look at a list, but of the ones I can remember right now, I really don't see Sam Wilson
Next,
sounding
Winter
up.
Soldier. When do you think he's coming back?
I would love to see him in Black Panther 2.
Nice.
I don't know if they
Okay.
will, because they told him to keep scarce out of Wakanda, so that might mean Black Panther 2 might be too
Cameo
soon.
appearance.
Yeah, like
Cameo appearance.
even if it's like the post credit scene or something, but that's my best bet at least. And then hopefully Captain 4, like I said, unless they can easily
You
make
don't
it make
think
sense.
Sam or gosh dang it, Bucky could make a cameo in Spider-Man Far From Home now that Iron Man's gone?
I don't think so. That
Iron Man
who's
the mentor, Iron Man the mentor who was there for him in the first movie. Now here he is in the second movie. He's got the scrolls getting involved.
I mean,
I feel
I would
like
that would be
they could
awesome.
make a
I'd
cameo.
like it because they have like the three of them all kind of have like a fun bromantic relationship where they're always like Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie like always just troll Tom Holland like when they were all doing press for Civil War and the big movies like that. So I would love to see the three of them do some more stuff together. But I just feel like Far From Home has way too much going on to throw more people in there.
Hmm.
But
Okay. Jerk.
but you know, that being said,
Sharon Carter. No, no, no. Next, Sharon Carter. Sharon
I
Carter.
I could since she's the power broker, I could see her showing up in some other stuff. Like perhaps Secret Invasion, especially if she is a scroll, like some people think she is.
Ding, 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 ding. You just said the right answer for once. All
Yes.
of these people and everyone is going to show up in Secret Invasion. I feel like that's going to be an Avengers movie. I feel like everything that we're watching now has small stuff talking about Secret Invasion. I
I mean,
think
I could see
scrolls that we're
that.
seeing in some movies is on the nose, but I think there's tons of other stuff that they're not going to show us until the big reveal, like a Sharon Carter's a scroll type thing,
Right.
or this person was a scroll for this part. And I think that I think everybody will be in it. And getting to my last potentially intentional, um, Bucky's walking by the guards, and Sam's like, "Keep an eye out for me." He's like, "Man, this is hard. They could literally be anyone." And it's like, to me, that's like a total line about the scrolls, in the future potentially being anybody, and why I think they might get Zemo out for Secret Invasion is because he's been locked up. So they're like, who do we know isn't a scroll? And they're like, well, Zemo's not a scroll. He's been sitting in jail. Let's get
Mm.
him out. Let's get some of these other people out. We need all four hands on deck right now. We're about to lose to an alien force. We can all unify and get on the same page and fight these people together.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. And not to go too into Secret Invasion, but it's so far in the MCU, the Skrulls have been good guys, you know? So I'm interested to see kind of like the turn there, or maybe even if they do something a little bit different than everyone expects. Um, but we'll obviously we'll do whole episodes on that stuff when it gets closer. And I think we should even do I mentioned this to you, but like we did an ep for each of the eps of this. I think we should do a pre-ep before stuff comes out to like lay out all our predictions and stuff as
Okay.
well.
Okay. A little
Yeah,
Ep Zero. A
little
little Ep
ep
Zero.
zero.
A little Ep Zero. A
I
little
look
Ep
forward to that
Zero.
Loki ep zero coming soon.
Sub-Zero
After,
Loki. Loki is gonna be so much fun, but we're gonna have a lot of fun in between. We're
yeah,
gonna scream a lot, which is what we're all about, anyways.
yep.
Okay. I want to get the Mortal Kombat in. I kind of want to talk about 2K, this new next gen My Player thing. I want to get Zach on here and make a player and talk about why I think it's worse and not as good, or way cooler and should have happened a long time ago. Either way, I'm upset.
The possibilities are
Um,
truly endless.
yeah, yeah. Again, I think there's a lot of fun stuff. And me and you, we recently met. All the screamers out there should get excited because we met to kind of start mapping that out and figuring out what we want to do in the long run and start kind of being more organized. So
Yeah,
hopefully that helps us out. Probably not. Who cares? We all love each other here.
we
Okay,
do.
everybody love everybody. That's the rule.
We are gonna get our screaming per minute up like
Got to
five
get
to
it up
ten
there.
percent even. You know, that's what
Yeah,
we're shooting
five,
for at first.
10. You guys wish you had bonuses like that, but we're
Yeah.
doing screams up
Yep.
5 to 10%.
Yep.
Um, with that in mind, are you ready to scream? You got
Well,
anything
I
else you
wanted
want to
to
talk
ask
about?
you one final thing about all of
I love
this.
asking questions. Yes, I'm gonna answer
I was
right
just
now
gonna
though.
say, now that we've seen the whole thing, we've gone through it. What would you rate it? You know, you can either give me a 1 to 100 or maybe like an ABC type scale. Overall experience for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What would you give it?
Um, I hate ratings. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there. Ratings are way too much, like not fair in the sense that I've seen so much. And if you rate things, then people like me will come be like, power balance. You rated this a 3 and that a 4. You like this more than that, and it gets really tricky. So I'm gonna stay away from ratings, but I'm just gonna say like levels of enjoyment. And for me, I really enjoyed this. So not like a 1 to 10 scale, but just like I really enjoyed this versus I was okay, or I didn't love it, or this was painful to get through, or I loved it. I don't want to say that I loved it. It was the best thing that we've seen Marvel do, but it was really, really, really unique. And what I liked about that was we just came off of WandaVision, which was unique. And so it's been nice that these shows have kind of stood on their own and done such a good job of not trying to be mini movies. Even with Captain America, this last episode, like I said, they went away from the recipe of like in the fight, now you have a little after scene. It was like in the fight, here's a bunch of after scenes because we're
Yeah.
telling a continuous story here. So I'll just say I really enjoyed it, and on the scale of me saying I liked it versus I didn't like it, I liked it. Boom.
Okay.
Because I liked it.
Well, all
What
right
about
then.
you?
He liked
I'm gonna
it.
serve that question right back up to you on a silver platter,
All right. Well, I mean,
which is I know what you wanted me to do.
I,
So here you go. Let me ask you: did you really like it,
I mean,
or did
let
you
me
kind
just
of
go
like
ahead
it?
and just kind of like take credit with everything you just said about like ratings and all that because I agree.
Yeah,
But I will at least give it something. I won't cop out.
I'm
Um,
a cop out. I copped out.
I would say that I really liked it. You know, we both had our issues with the finale, but I still liked the finale and I liked the show as
Still
a
like the
whole.
finale too.
So
Hands up, no one hurt me.
I think I would give the show as a whole like with like A being really good and
Okay.
you know F being like I wish I could get in a time machine and have this time
So
back.
you're getting your red pencil out and you're about to give this like a legit grade from the teacher. This is
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah. So I think I would give it like a uh B plus to an A minus.
What did Wanda get?
Wanda, I would give A plus. I loved it, and like
Do
it.
you give out 2 grades every time or is this
I mean, I guess I do. That might be my thing. You know,
B plus A minus? It's
I give,
A
I
plus.
give a little bit of a range. You know.
Let me ask you this. Is A plus different from A plus A?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is. You know, if you're just an A plus, that means you're just there.
Interesting.
You know, it's the
Well, no,
bottom to
I'm
the
saying
top.
that but does it matter as far as like I'm saying something's from A to A plus as opposed from A plus to A. To me, it seems like the second one is like higher up,
Yeah, no, yeah,
but
it
I
would
don't.
be because
Okay,
the
okay,
first letter is the more important one. So like an A plus A would be better than an A plus.
yeah. I'm just trying to fully understand your
Yeah,
grading scale, man.
you know, we'll
But
get the
now
kinks worked out.
I'm
But
gonna get you grading everything now, like Kingdom Hearts, the video game.
ooh, I gotta, I gotta think on that. But we talking about the original one?
Yeah, I was, but I guess we could do
Yeah,
the whole series.
I
But I
mean,
don't even want to scream or talk about that right
yeah,
now.
yeah, we got
I want
that's
to focus on screaming. Do you
yeah.
have a scream that you're going for today?
Man, I honestly don't. So if you have one, it might inspire me. So
Yeah, well, don't scream my scream, okay? You had one job and you didn't come with a scream to scream time,
man,
scream fix?
okay,
Good
all
God,
right, okay,
man.
wait, I got
I
one.
hope they fry you in the comics.
I already
I
got
hope
one.
they kill you.
I got
All
one.
right, well, lay it on me. What
All
is it?
right, mine's gonna be that you're trying to get ready to make an appointment, and you're getting a little sleepy, so you need a little pick me up. So you go to make a coffee, but you put your coffee cup in the wrong way, and so coffee spills
Mm-hmm.
all over your counter.
Sounds familiar. I feel like
Yeah,
you practiced this scream earlier, maybe.
I'm, I might have actually. So I think I'm gonna try to channel that energy. What about you? What do you got?
We just talked about the last episode of Captain America and Winter Soldier, and so I thought I would go reversies and say I would scream about today, scream of joy. So we're on the last episode. I'm gonna scream like we were about to watch the first. You know that sense of joy. It
Okay,
overcomes you, and they're like, "Hey, this dropped tonight. F1's out. Surprise!" And you're like, "Yeah, that's what I'm gonna
okay,
give you."
I dig that. I dig that a
And then
lot.
I'm hitting out. I'm getting out of here real quick. You
Yeah, I
know
mean,
how
I
I
gotta
do.
go, bro. So let's just get this
Nah,
screaming.
hit me with the scream. Count me down.
You count us
Count us
down.
down.
You count us down.
All
I
right.
counted us down last time. I feel like.
I never know if my hand is in the
You're in there. You're in
the.
now. You're in now.
Yeah.
Oh